Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the FindFocus show. Today we will talk about a really important topic, and this could be the difference between success and failure in your business, in your life, in your health, in your relationship, or in sports, or it applies to any area of life. I just discovered it while reading Atomic Habits from James Clear, and I call this the Tree Principle. And it's all about decisions. In his book, he has one chapter about decisive moments, and this is basically a decision tree. And at any given time in your day, there's different decisive moments, and where you basically can choose between good decision or bad decision, like driving to McDonald's or having a healthy salad or whatever it is. And what I discovered is, like, for me, in one episode I talked about starting your perfect day, and I discovered if I start my day right, the rest of the day will be really great. But if I start it wrong, like, it's just a complete waste and I will not get anything done. And what this decision tree, which I call a Pareto tree, because this makes such a huge impact. Like, if you get the underlying structure right, everything, like, there's a lot of errors that you can make. But if you make a few important decisions wrong, then everything falls apart. And just to give you an idea of this, like, if you just start with the first good decision, like you're in the top half or top 50% of good decisions, like on the way to success. But if you make the first decision wrong, like you're in the bottom half, the bottom 50%. Like, that means if you just make the first decision wrong and afterwards only good decisions, like, you would still just get to 50% of what's possible. And this is like a really huge thing. So that means if you get just a few basic decisions right, like for example in business, what industry you're in, what customers you choose, what products to sell at which price point, like, if you get all these things right, then you can make a lot of mistakes along the way. Like, this reminds me of like one mistake that people make in their marketing. Like, if they are asked for advantages, for example, like if you want to have a food stand, like, what's the number one thing that is responsible for success or failure? And a lot of people say, like, it's having the best food and the best marketing and whatever. There's so many things that you could have right or could have wrong. But Gary Halbert talked about, like, there's only one thing that you really need to get things right, and this is a hungry crowd. Like, you can have the best food stand in the world, but if there's nobody coming along, nobody will buy your food and you will likely go bankrupt. But if you're at a festival where everybody's hungry, it doesn't matter if your food is good or not. If people are hungry, they will buy pizza, they will buy kebab, they will buy, like, whatever you're selling. Basically, it's just like selling to a drowning person in the desert. And this is the power of the Pareto tree. So I want you to think about what is this tree for you, what the structure that you need to have in place to be successful in your business, in your health. Like I was talking about, like, starting your day right, taking care of your health, of your mental health. And this is also important, like, for everything. Like, think about your life. Like, if maybe and one thing I want to talk about as well is like marketing. And this is it makes a huge difference, like, where you grow your tree, like having the right soil, and is where the root, like, or in your life, like, even just, are you an entrepreneur or are you a wage slave? Like, for me, being an employee was like being at the bottom 50%, no matter what I did right and no matter how much money I made. Like, it was always the wrong decision, like, for me in the first place. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And now it's about, like, finding the right market, having you listening to this, and yeah, having the right water, the right soil, like the right surrounding in general, the right sun, and all this makes a huge difference. And if we look, like if you're watching this on YouTube, if I now expand all decision trees, you will see like what a huge difference this makes. As you can see, like here, if you're just making the first decision right, it will put you up way beyond in this tree. And right at the top, like if you're just getting the first decisions right, it will put you in the top 5%. And even if you just do everything wrong afterwards, like you will still be in the top if you just got the first few decisions right. But same if you just start with a bad decision, like you will just be way down, and it's almost impossible to have success afterwards. So this is something I want you to think about today. And I would like to finish this episode with a quote from Jim Rohn I really like. Like this is just a metaphor, but yeah, like if you do not like where you are in your life right now, move. You are not a tree. So you will hear me talking about trees probably a lot more in the future, because I think this Pareto Tree Principle is so powerful and applies to all areas of our life. And the Pareto Principle is something like I'm really fond of. And yeah, I think this is so important to know. Like if you're having the right structure, everything falls into place. Like choosing the right job in the first place. Like if you are at a company or like in an industry like that's just crappy, like you can do whatever you want, it will still be crappy. But same with if you're choosing the wrong business, like if you're choosing the wrong market, like it almost does not matter what you do, like you will still very likely fail. And so I encourage you to really think about like the structure in your life. Where can you make better decisions? Where can you put your tree in the right place? How can you find the right people who surround you, who will support you? And it's just makes such a huge difference. And I cannot tell like how huge this difference is. So please let me know your thoughts about this episode, and I would really like to hear from you, and have a great day.